Hi there and welcome back to the Metaverse Stock Exchange. In this video, I'm going to go over Wendover Productions' hit job on Tesla, which they did a couple of days ago, and it has over 600,000 views just in 2 days. And I will present the reality, the facts, and how they got so many things out of context to present a one-sided story. I will put a link in the description below if you would like to watch their full video, because I have inserts here just going point by point. Every major point that they make, I have analyzed with, again, the facts and the reality of the case, but you can watch the full video if you like to do so. With all of that put away, I will tell you that it starts mild, and then by the end of the video, it just goes off the rails. So let's see what they have to present, and let's go and check it out.
Since then, as the cars hit the road and the company shot skyward, complaints about Model S's with
I'll pause here for you just to check how they start. So if you can see this comments from 2021. Let's see next
windows that leak when it rains or mispositioned wire looms, and Model X's with drooping window seals or mysterious rattles when reaching speed.
All of those didn't have dates. Then let's see the next one.
Have become commonplace.
So this one here, you see 2017, and then on this one here, 6 years ago. Let me stand out in virtual reality for you to check, because pretty much you can see how the hit job starts with all of these anecdotes or taken out pieces from years and years ago just to make a point. But nothing that you will see here is from 2023. And keep in mind that the video was posted 2 days ago. So let's continue on. This is how it starts. It's pretty mild, but it does have, you're going to see now continuation with these dates and
scroll YouTube's results for Tesla build quality.
Again, look at the dates. If you look at the dates, you're going to see 1 year ago, 2 years ago, 1 year ago, all old videos. And obviously, if you put in YouTube, we don't see what's put in. But if you put in Tesla problems, obviously, you're going to see a lot of Tesla problem videos, but nothing from 2023. Again, all old videos.
And the search will populate far more videos offering negative feedback than positive. Or take this poll on Tesla subreddit, where a majority of all respondents reported at least minor or cosmetic issues with their
Okay, now the majority. Okay, good. Reddit poll, less than 1,000 votes. So Tesla has pretty much sold millions of cars, but we're basing this search or analysis or hit job on less than 1,000 votes. Again, as I said, mild stuff. Now it's when we get into the more interesting parts.
Vehicle.
So the first kind of, let's say, evidence that they present is the consumer report for 2022.
The most objective stance of all, there's the Consumer Reports annual reliability rankings, where Tesla placed second to last in 2021 and 19th out of 24 manufacturers in 2022.
Now that's very interesting. And then I looked up the Consumer Reports here, and I have it open. And yes, that is true that Tesla is 19. But first, what is very interesting is that below Tesla, we have Volkswagen and Mercedes-Benz dead last. Both those two companies are German quality manufacturers that make very quality cars, and they're known for that reliability and quality. So I really don't know how they measured this reliability index and how real this is, but let's say that this is true. Okay, that was the true fact. Let's go to Consumer Reports here, and as you can see, the same Consumer Reports. Tesla and Nissan make the most reliable electric vehicles. This is the same outlet that made that report for this year, so the reliability index. But if you look here, 2022, the December of 2022, as you can see, and if you scroll even down here, what you're going to read is that the Tesla Model 3 is the second most reliable electric vehicle, just second to the Kia. But it goes on to say that the Kia is very new, brand new, so they still don't have a lot of data on it, and presumably the Tesla Model 3 will be probably the most reliable. So again, they themselves are saying that the Teslas are the most reliable electric vehicles, but they put him 19th on this list of overall cars. Again, why did this report get into the video but not this report? Very interesting. Okay, let's move on. Next topic, he's going to be talking about how legacy car manufacturers are so good and Tesla is not.
Tesla has lacked the consistency of legacy car manufacturers. After all, they aren't a legacy car manufacturer.
Okay, let's stop it there and let's check it out. The point that he's making is, hey, Tesla's brand new. It's not a legacy. The legacy is really good. Okay, let's go to Forbes here and see what Forbes has to say. So number of recalls by brand, right? If these legacy manufacturers are so good, they shouldn't have a lot of recalls. What do you know? Ford number 1, VW number 2, Fiat Chrysler number 3, Mercedes-Benz number 4, GM number 5, Kia number 6, Hyundai number 7, and Tesla number 8. So Tesla is number 8 by recalls. So where are these legacy manufacturers being so good when they have more recalls than Tesla? And not to mention that most of Tesla's recalls, if not every recall, it is an over-the-air update. You just set it and forget. You don't even know. You just click a button and that's it. Whereas with all these other manufacturers, you need to go to the dealership, leave the car there, whether it is for a quick time or sometimes even for days, to get that recall fixed. So again, the point that he's making, that legacy auto manufacturers are super awesome and great, and Tesla is not, is just not based on the data. Okay, now we go into production.
In the case of the Model Y at the end of 2022, slackened demand and increasing production capacity at Tesla's Texas factory shrunk delivery times to a matter of weeks. But for every November of 2022, there's a September of 2018.
By definition, there's only one September of 2018, just to put it out there. And that was the only time that Tesla had a huge problem when they were ramping up Model 3 production, and Elon himself has stated that it was a huge problem. He pretty much slept in the factory until that got resolved. But don't listen to me. He's going to give you the answer pretty much a couple of minutes down in the video.
Now, ultimately, Tesla pulled itself out of the hole it dug, and the exasperated early adopters finally got their cars. But the problems...
So it's not that Tesla has always had a production problem. That was one time, they solved it, and from that point on, their production has been just continuously ramping up and pretty much increasing by multitudes every quarter and every year. So it's just not factual. And then again, he continues on here with these, look, April 17, 2001 tweets.
Persist. Buyers still check in on their delivery date only to see that it's been bumped back a month. Customers save their "get ready for delivery in 2 weeks" notices.
Again, 2021 stuff.
Only for them to start piling up in their inbox, and the frustrated still ask what's going on over Twitter because that's the easiest means of getting an answer.
Now, before going on, did Tesla have a production problem? Yes, it did. It's good to acknowledge it. But does it have it now? No. And you're making this video in 2023. So to say that is just not true. Plus, they're building multiple factories across the world and ramping up production for all vehicles. They had to slow down production because there was not enough demand. So if you're trying to make a hit piece and say, hey, maybe there is demand slowing, that's a valid argument that we can agree or disagree. But the fact that you're making here is just not factually correct.
So, whether stationary or mobile, Tesla's service capabilities are being overwhelmed.
Now, on the service side, has Tesla had problems with servicing vehicles in the past? Yes, that is correct. Again, talking about the past. Are they building more and more service centers? Yes, that is correct. He even goes on to say that the drivetrain in Teslas is not the problem, and it's things like leaking window seal. Now, my counter argument, and if you're presenting the entire story, is you can go and look up 12 most common car problems on Carfax. And what do you know if you look up the common car problems that pretty much every car has, right? Because we're comparing now. Do Teslas break down? Yes. Do other cars break down? Yes. If you're using it, it's going to break down. But let's see where the common problems are. It says cars won't start. Electric vehicles don't have that problem. Brake problems. Electric vehicles have regenerative braking, so they save the brakes, and you can pretty much use one set of pads way longer on an electric vehicle that you can do it on a regular vehicle. Check engine light. There's no engine to check the light on. Rough engine idle. There's no engine to idle with electric vehicles. Next, it says leaks under the car. And this is where I'm going to stop here. We do have pretty much overheating. Again, another problem with cars. We have, yes, paint problems. You can associate those with Tesla. You can even associate problems with the shocks and all that. But look at this problem here. Leaks under the car. So he says in the video, hey, Teslas are breaking down. You saw even at the beginning at those videos showing how the window is leaking when it's raining. Okay, let's give that point and say maybe that's true. What would you rather have? A leaking window or a leaking engine? Because a leaking window is a nuisance, and yes, should the Tesla not have that? That's correct. It's an annoyance, and when you pay for a new vehicle or for so much money for, let's say, a more premium vehicle like the Tesla, that shouldn't happen. But if you then compare that to other manufacturers and the problems that other cars have, like whether it's overheating, checking engines, or leaks, just imagine leaking engine. He's saying Teslas break down more. Okay, let's say that you break down twice a year, and both times you went for, let's say, the leaking window, right? Would you rather do that or go once a year but have a leaking engine that costs thousands of dollars to repair? That's where the context is not put in full to understand that even though Teslas are breaking down, the issues are minute, they shouldn't be existing, they are working on their quality, but keep in mind that the problems are nowhere close to the problems that you would car with other cars breaking down. So again, putting everything in context.
Compare a Model Y long.
Oh my God, this is where I totally just freak out. The competition part, you're gonna see it. So let's see. 3 comparisons. Let's start.
Range to a Mustang Mach-E Premium, and it has slightly better acceleration, slightly longer range, but a slightly higher price.
Okay, so first look at how misleading even this chart is. You can see the acceleration piece is put in the middle, so the white line looks like it's more. But that's bad. You want lower acceleration, but if you're just looking at this, you're going to see, hey, look, the white line is better at some things, right? It's just misleading. And the point that he's making, he's saying the counter argument. Is the Tesla better at range? Yes. Is it better at acceleration? Yes. He doesn't even mention the fact that there is a vast amount of superchargers, and the supercharger network is a huge plus for the Tesla, and the price is pretty similar. So what do you expect from pretty much the entry-level vehicles that they're both in a very similar price range, right? For $40-something thousand. The Tesla has better range, better acceleration, better charging network. Like, what do you expect? Did you expect the Tesla to be 3 times better? In every category, it is slightly better. That's what you're getting, a better car. So again, not a valid point.
As far as distinguishable differences go, there are few. It's a similar story upmarket with the Model S. The Lucid Air nearly matches on acceleration, beats it on range, and is close enough in price that few in this market segment would bat an eye. And then if you go...
The Lucid Air. So I'm not even going to present you all the problems that Lucid has had over the years. And right now, they're having huge problems with ramping up manufacturing. They have problems with the software of the... They have problems with marketing and sales. and all of that. I'm just going to present you their stock price and their continuous pretty much plummeting from their peaks, and even now on a day-by-day basis, even with the markets being sharply higher during the month of January and February, now in 2023, the stock is pretty much at the lows because they have so many problems. So to say that the Lucid Air that makes a couple of thousand cars is a competitor to the Model S, again, it's just not true. It's very easy to make a concept car or to make a couple of hundred cars that are better than a Tesla. But to make a production car that is in the tens of thousands or hundreds of thousands a year or even millions, that's where the problems lie. But let's give that again. The third example, this is where I get so aggravated.
All the way to the other side of the market, Tesla is bested by Chevrolet, whose base model Bolt EV starts for some $15,000 less than the base Model 3, while coming close on many specs.
Coming close. So again, putting the acceleration in the middle to look like the white line is more, but the reality of the situation is that being more is not good. Being less in the acceleration camp is better for the car. And now what you're comparing is a Tesla Model 3 to a Chevy Bolt. Okay, let's first talk about something here that's not mentioned in the video, which is this. And this is from last year. So keep this in mind. GM urges some owners of Chevy Bolt electric cars to park 50 feet away from other vehicles because there's a risk of fire spreading. Okay, didn't mention that. The Chevy Bolt's really, really nice car, but not mentioning anything of this kind of fire hazard problem. And even if you don't mention that, let's see what you're comparing here, because that's the gist of the problem. So you're comparing this to this, and you're saying that they're pretty much similar and that this is cheaper. Yes, obviously this is cheaper. Look at it. It's light speed ugly. Like, you would have to pay me to drive this thing. Obviously it's going to be cheaper than this modern good-looking vehicle. And to say that these are comparable is just hilarious. This is a sedan mid-level car, and this is one of the entry-level small hatchback, the cheapest kind of vehicle you can have. And you're comparing them. Just doesn't make any sense how this comparison is being happening. And to say that this is cheaper and has the same stats, it doesn't have the same stats. The Tesla is way better. And even if it wasn't better, just look at it. People buy cars because they like them and they like driving them and being seen in them. Look at this. Who wants to be seen in this? The only reason why you would buy this is because it's cheap, nothing else. And it gets on fire, but not a mention of that, which brings us to our next topic here. Okay, the F-150. Again, you're going to see why.
6 years after that, Ford announced they'd just build an electric version of the F-150. 3 years after that, it entered production. And today, there are thousands of F-150 Lightnings on the road and exactly 0 Tesla pickups.
Okay, let's check how the F-150 is doing. Let's see how it's doing. Ford suspends electric F-150 Lightning production for another week following battery fire. This is a couple of weeks old news because F-150s apparently have a problem with catching fire and the production is being suspended. All of this was known before publishing this video. But again, not a mention of it. The Bolt's better, the F-150 is better. The fact that they're catching fire, not a problem. All of that's really good. Next topic is China. And again, you're going to see...
But that's not the most staggering part. This is. Their growth rate is ferocious. And here's Tesla's. It is famously difficult for Western...
The growth rate that he's referring to here is BYD, the China manufacturer that's really growing a lot, and then they're pretty much better than Tesla in China, which is correct and accurate. I won't say anything about that. BYD is pretty much the #1 electric manufacturer in China, but let's see his point here.
Companies to sustainably compete in the Chinese market. Amazon failed, Uber failed, Airbnb failed, Google, Best Buy, Home Depot, Macy's, eBay, Yahoo.
So why is that a problem? All those US companies that he lists are service-based companies. They don't produce anything. And obviously Chinese companies are going to have an advantage where some service is being provided. But he doesn't mention that Tesla is the only company that has 100% American owned factory in China. Let's read this. Tesla's 100% American owned factory in China is a big deal. Why is it a big deal? Because they're the only foreign manufacturer that has this deal. Every other car manufacturer, including the GMs and the Fords, have been pressured by the Chinese government to make a deal with a Chinese company. So the manufacturer in China, yes, they're producing, let's say, a foreign vehicle, whether it's a Mercedes or a BMW or a Ford, but the ownership in the factory is either 50-50 or 60-40 with a Chinese company. But China wanted Tesla so bad that they made an exception and gave them 100% owned factory for them. And again, just misleading and giving these service companies as an example. But you can't compare selling cars, selling something that is pretty much useful and it's not comparable to a service. Yes, another company can be another search engine or can be another eBay, but there is many very little companies that can be another Tesla. And that's what brings us to BYD. In this remarkable segment, I labeled it no words because I truly do not have words about this conclusion that he makes here.
They'll always be a secondary player, meaning it might not be a market worth betting on.
So he says Tesla is going to be a secondary player in China, and that's why you shouldn't be fighting for this market. China is a 1.5 billion people market, with pretty much now the middle class getting into that kind of, let's say, wealth gap or in that income bracket that they're now purchasing even more vehicles and even more expensive vehicles. So for him to say, hey, you're going to be number 2, so it's not worth it, makes absolutely 0 cents, less than 0 cents. So if you're not number 1, just close the factory down. Why be in China if you're going to be number 2? China is going to be the biggest electric vehicle market in a couple of years. It's even now that, but even in the upcoming years. In being even number 10 on that market is going to be good for you because you're going to be selling tens of thousands of vehicles, if not hundreds of thousands of vehicles. So no words about that conclusion. Next, he rambles about the FSD vehicle.
There's now an open beta for something closer to true full self-driving, but far away from that vision of touchless trips from LA to New York. It's erratic and imperfect in a way that requires a significant degree of human oversight and intervention to avoid becoming a liability on the road.
So, for every person that's doubting what FSD is it a beta? Yes. Is it not full self-driving? It is not full self-driving. But if you want to see the capabilities of this vehicle, of this system, go to YouTube and just watch the countless hours of FSD driving people from point A to point B. It is not the same as cruise control. Cruise control is something that you do on the highway, but there is countless of hours of materials where FSD is driving in the city, in congested cities with pretty much cars parked all over the place, with people going in front of the cars. Every scenario, you're going to see it. Is it perfect? It is not perfect. But to say that it's just, hey, there's something close to beta, and this is the good part. I took out the good part before he goes on for a couple of minutes to say that, hey, they said they're going to have FSD and they don't. It's a process. It's getting there, and every person that's had it can tell you that it's just continually improving. But even if you don't believe that, go on YouTube and you're going to see for yourself.
But once again, the company has burned through its most promising customer base, existing owners.
Okay, let's check that theory out, that Tesla satisfaction is low from their existing consumers. Now we're going to see a report based on multiple other reports. So this is a wide-ranging report of customer satisfaction in the car market. What do you know? Tesla number one, then Range Rover, Mazda, Peugeot, and BMW. So from all over the world, Tesla's satisfaction rate is the highest from any other car manufacturer. But according to him, people that have Teslas are not satisfied. Based on what? Just his hit job.
According to a Morning Consult survey, Tesla's net favorability among Democrats plummeted 20.3% between October and November 2022 when Musk purchased Twitter and started making a series of controversial changes and statements. Among Republicans, the favorability actually increased, but only by 3.9%. That's not nearly enough to make the move worth it for Tesla.
Okay, so he makes the point here, hey, Elon has pretty much been giving political statements, and that's hurting the Tesla brand. Now, this is something that I will concede this point. Elon's comments have definitely caused harm on the company. But now I'm going to read, this is the pinned comment from Wendover Productions under the video. And what you're going to see here is he says, this video is titled, How Tesla Fumbled. It's not the state of Tesla in 2023. So if this video was titled, How Elon Fumbled, okay, I'll take that as a valid argument. Yes, he is fumbling. He's going a lot towards the right, and many of Tesla's buyers are on the left. So you can make that argument. But to say that Tesla is fumbling based on his own kind of the things that he is doing, that's not correct. Tesla has nothing to do with that. And every person that's making a decision, hey, whether I'm going to buy this vehicle because it's a good vehicle or not, isn't that. In your own words, and I encourage you to read this entire thing here, you're going to see that what the point that he's trying to make is, hey, I'm not hitting whether it is on Tesla or on Elon Musk. Is this how the company is fumbling? But even by that metric, Elon's personal opinions are not connected to Tesla fumbling. So I'm going to end on this pretty much personal attacks on Elon. There's many other points that he's made that are, again, out of context, not true, not based in reality, not showing the other side, and just a hit job on the company. And hopefully you like this video, and I'll see you in the next one.